Hello, everyone. We're going to start in about 5 minutes. In the meantime, we have a couple requests about us. I don't want to get into too many details because we'll end up discussing this in the intro and the outro, but a little bit about Marketing My Market. We are a full-service digital marketing agency with emphasis on legal marketing. So that means a lot of SEO, SEM, content campaigns, and we really, just to kind of plug ourselves, we really do excel at review generation for law firms, and we've become quite an authority on assisting law firms with this. So that's why we're putting on webinars on this, and we've been doing this for a bit, putting out a lot of content, tutorials, some video, some guides. So we really like talking about this, and we've had a lot of success, and that's why we enjoy talking about it. So we will elaborate when we start.
That is right, Ryan. We're super excited to talk to you about how to obtain customer reviews. We've been doing this for a good while. I've seen great results, so we're going to give you guys some good tips.
Yeah, I'd say that we've been doing this consistently with great results for at least 2 years. And before that, it was a lot of painstaking experimentation, a lot of frustration, and a lot of hours spent not exactly getting the campaigns we wanted. So really this is the culmination of all our efforts in just a handful of slides. My life's work in a 30-minute webinar. Completely condensed.
Oh, man.
Cool. We're going to start in about another 4 minutes. We're precise like that. We'll give plenty of people that roll in definitely in the last 1 or 2 minutes a chance to find a seat. In the meantime, it's not completely related. Well, actually, no, it is entirely related, but it's not a part of the webinar exactly. Is I actually had several clients send me a link to a Wall Street Journal article on Google Places and spam. And it was a very interesting read. And Joanna, I'm going to tell you this afterwards, and I'll link it to you after you can read it. One of our clients is in the article.
No way.
Yep, one of our clients is in the article. I can't believe it. I was in shock.
What?
I won't say if it's positive or negative.
Oh.
All I can say is it was during a time when we weren't working with them actively.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty crazy. So
Yeah.
let me see if I can find the link. I can find the link. I'll just link that now because it's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Very interesting. Yeah, it's not that often.
Prevalent.
Yeah, it's not too
Right
often
now.
when Wall Street Journal is like talking about millions of business listings on Google Maps are fake. So I'm gonna drop this in the webinar chat for everyone's viewing pleasure. It's a very interesting article. And this is something, it's not exactly a part of the webinar because we're discussing specifically review generation, the importance, how to do it, our process. And this is primarily about the actual places. But I mean, that's like a whole webinar, twice as long as this one really in itself. So great read, very interesting, the state of where it's going. And like I mentioned, reviews and local is just a huge core competency of our agency, and it's so important for lawyers. So we spent a lot of time researching and writing about this and reading about it. So instead, we're going to start in about 1 minute. That's my warm up.
Nice.
I'm glad I could preface all this with a little introductory information. And yeah, you should browse it real quick, and you'll see it. It'll stand out, and it'll say "No way," just like you just did a moment ago.
Send it to me in Slack because I can't click out of my presentation.
You don't want me to distract
For
you
our
when we're about to start?
Yes, for our wonderful attendees.
Okay, here you go. All right, let's just wait for Joanna's reaction right now. For everyone listening, that was a very genuine reaction.
Oh.
Yep. And then
Oh,
the next thing they're supposed to say is, I guess I'm not surprised.
yeah, I was thinking, well, I guess that's karma.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, let's just give it a few more seconds and we'll get rolling.
Mhm. All right, it is 1:30. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our webinar on the importance of five-star reviews and how to obtain them in 2019. We have a packed agenda for today, but before we get started, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. My name is Joanna Brooks, and I'm an account manager at Market My Market. So I'm responsible for managing our client accounts, specifically as it relates to the development and deployment of marketing strategy. And we also have lovely Ryan Klein presenting on the webinar today. Say hey, Ryan.
Hey, Joanna, thanks for the introduction. Um, as you can tell from a little bit of our banter prior to us getting started, we're really passionate about review generation, and we're really glad we can present this. I believe that most of the people listening are lawyers of distinction, and I just want to say shout out to them for organizing that. And they reached out to us to put on this webinar. So, you know, if you're a member of that group, it's a really cool perk for you guys, just, you know, on the education, continual awareness of what's going on in digital marketing. So a little bit about me. I've been doing this for about 10 years. About 4 or 5 of those years in-house for some really large law firms in Florida. And then I went to freelance consulting and then went on to create this agency or co-found it. So reviews has been an ongoing project of ours for all of our clients. And it's really important more than ever to have reviews. So that's why we're coming together to present this to you today.
Thank you, Ryan. Awesome. All right, so as part of today's agenda, we will explore the following topics: how important reviews have become and what consumers are doing to look up reviews, building your own effective review system with the right wording, execution, and follow-ups, leveraging positive reviews for better online visibility and higher conversions. And then we'll save time at the end of the webinar to answer any questions that you might have. And you can just go ahead and enter them into the chat pane as they arise. And for any questions that we don't get to at the end, we'll make sure to follow up with an email accordingly. So let's get started.
Great agenda. All right, to start, importance of reviews. Trends show an increasing importance of customer reviews. So we've been doing surveys for the past 3 years, 2016, 2017, 17, 18. And every single year we're asking people how important are reviews when making a decision about a lawyer or local business, local professional. And every single year, we always see an increase. And in 2019 was pretty much the most importance we've ever seen. And then Joanna's going to go into some of those statistics on the importance and where it is today.
Thank you, Ryan. So let's run through some stats regarding the importance of customer reviews for lawyers. So we actually conducted a survey towards the end of 2018 and again at the beginning of 2019 with around 500 respondents. Here were the questions that we asked as well as the results we found. The first question was, on a percentage scale of 0 to 100%, how important would it be to read reviews about a lawyer prior to contacting them? The average response that we received was that the importance would fall at 81.7%. Now, when we initially conducted this survey 3 months prior, the average response was 74.15%. So potential clients are finding it increasingly important to read reviews about a lawyer before contacting them. The next question that we asked was, what is the minimum rating you would want to see for a lawyer on Google? And the response that we received was that the minimum rating they'd like to see on a lawyer's profile is a 3.84 star rating, and that's out of 5 stars. 3 months prior, the minimum star rating people wanted to see was 3.8875. So it stayed relatively stable there. When asked what's the minimum number of reviews you'd want to see for a lawyer on Google, the response we received was 20 customer reviews. 3 months prior, the minimum number was 14.1 customer reviews. So you can see it's, again, increasingly important not only to have a high star rating on your online review profiles, but also to have a large and growing number of reviews on your online profiles. At the very least, most small businesses should work towards a 3.9 star rating and 14 reviews, which were the minimum results that we received in our survey. So keep in mind now that none of this matters if your competition has better numbers than you do. If this is your situation, you likely want to strive to obtain even more reviews with better ratings to get ahead. So when we conducted the survey again in 2019, we added just one more question. And this question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you narrowed down 2 lawyers you liked, but one had much better reviews online, how much would that impact your final decision? The average rating that was reported was 7.931 on a scale of 1 to 10, making it clear that having less positive reviews than your competitors can really be the breaking point in their decision-making process. Would you agree, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were saying before, we're talking about minimums of 3.8 and 20 reviews, and you're probably thinking like 3.8 is probably not even that great, and you're actually correct. For lawyers, we're seeing more and more. We're around the range of 4.2, 4.4. You don't see too many people in the map pack that are really less than that, and we're kind of in a place where people have 50, 100, 200 reviews. Oftentimes we're featured in the map pack and Google Local. So the bar is really higher. This is just really a general base.
That's right. All right, so we've discussed how important reviews are to customers. Let's talk now about how exactly people are finding lawyers in 2019. So we conducted a survey about this, and this is what we found. 64% of respondents said that they would search on Google, with many already set on finding attorneys in their area on the #1 search engine. 30% indicated that they'd turn to a friend, family member, or coworker to recommend a good attorney to them. A little over 1% of those polled said that they'd use Yellow Book to inquire about an appropriate attorney, and that was just 6 people out of all of the respondents. And then the same amount of people, 6 people, which equaled 1%, claimed that they'd reach out to friends on Facebook for recommendations or possibly post in a Facebook group forum. And I'm going to let Ryan run through the rest of the results.
Thanks. Yeah, and before I go through my numbers, one thing I definitely want to say is that 30% right there that indicate they go to a friend, family member, or coworker. Keep in mind, not every person is going to have a go-to lawyer. Should someone need help with a criminal matter, personal injury, family, they're not always going to find someone in their circle or network. So that 30% can easily be a part of that higher 64% that search on Google. Moving along, 1% of participants said they would search on Yelp. So as a lot of lawyers know or hate or are aware of Yelp, Yelp is pretty much primarily for a lot of bars and restaurants, casual entertainment. So it's not exactly the go-to search engine or directory for lawyers. So that's why it's only 5 participants. A few mentioned other search engines like Bing, Yahoo, and DuckDuckGo. So really more than ever, along with reviews being important, Google, its prominence has never been, more stated. So majority of people really just Google is synonymous with search engine. One person said Avvo. So we know about Avvo. People get to Avvo by doing kind of just normal searches, your typical, lawyer plus practice area. So Avvo, while it is a pretty prominent legal referral service and directory, they haven't exactly branded themselves to the point where people think legal services and they say Avvo along with it. So. And lastly, one person said they would use LinkedIn. So there are lawyers on LinkedIn, quite a few more than I actually realized. So one person did opt to go to LinkedIn to find a lawyer there.
Yeah. And I want to also emphasize that the results of the survey highlight more than anything the importance of getting outside your comfort zone when marketing your legal practice. So while you may find a source like Avo sensible to pitch your services, it's very possible that the clients you seek rely on other methods to find legal help.
Yep, cool. So I'm going to discuss accumulating more reviews. There are 3 options you're going to take, and we're going to discuss each one. The first one is do it yourself. That'll be the next slide, I believe. And then utilizing third-party tool. There are a lot out there. I think that I identified and have worked with and tried at least 15, and other SEOs I know as well. So there are a lot of tools, and we'll discuss kind of how those work. And then the last approach could be, subscribing for a third-party tool, but letting an expert actually utilize it and then generate the reviews on your behalf. And there are reasons that that is recommended, and we'll go over that later. So the DIY, how do we do it? This is a template that we've worked on for a very, very long time. We pretty much have tweaked this and edited it over the course of about 12 months. So you don't have to go into too many details. It's very visual, and you can see it right here. Starts with the how was your experience, a couple sentences, and then the green positivity to kind of push people to leave reviews on the websites you select, so Google, Facebook, and then a red kind of to deter them from negativity, and then kind of push that kind of feedback elsewhere. So you can take a look at that, and also we can provide the slides so you can see this example. So the next part is making the email appear more like a third-party inquiry. So this part of it, doing it yourself, is very important. It's good not to necessarily have it come from a lawyer or legal assistant or reception. You kind of want to make it seem like it's more neutral, more third party. So think about maybe an email that's maybe, if you're going to use your law firm, at your law firm, think like client experience, client care, being the email, or you might want to do a dedicated Gmail account where it's like something branded with, your law firm name plus client or experience, and then just make it kind of a little bit more distant from anything to be considered a solicitation is really what you want to do with your email. And then Joanna is going to talk about the next parts.
Yep. So keeping track of emails, it's very important to have a system in place to track whether people are clicking on the links in your emails or even opening them in the first place. We recommend using an email automation platform like MailChimp, which provides you with data including whether someone opened or clicked on your email. You can also opt for third-party software that has additional functionality, such as automation for email follow-ups. So you can set up a campaign where if someone doesn't open your email the first time, another email automatically gets sent out 5 days later. So if you don't catch them on the first request, you have an opportunity to catch them on the second or third time. And I think that we're going to have Ryan tell us about maintaining a timeline for sending out follow-up emails on the next slide.
Yep. So we created a simple graphic for you to kind of demonstrate how that timeline looks, 5 by 5. Pretty much you send out the first email. If they don't respond or open, 5 days. Same thing, 5 days, 5 days. So it's going to be over a course of this timeline. And basically, if they didn't respond or leave a review or open it up, you can wait a little while, and then you can just do the whole process again. Pretty much what's going to happen is one of two things. They're either going to leave a review, or they're going to ask you, can you please stop emailing me? Those are pretty much the two scenarios. And we follow this, and it works out well.
Yeah, and what's really nice also about using third-party software and platforms is that you can actually customize the timeline that best suits you. So we do have some clients that are like, you know what, I don't want to bother my past clients more than a couple times. Let's just do it twice. So we do set it up sometimes where it's like we'll send out the initial email first. If nothing happens, we'll send out another email reminder 2 days later. And if nothing happens, then we'll send out one more 5 days later, and then that's it. So that's one of the benefits of being able to leverage a platform, is that you can customize that based on what works best for you and your specific clientele, depending on your practice area.
Thanks, that's a really good point.
Got your back, Ryan. All right. So now that we know what the review generation process looks like, let's talk about why most initiatives fail when people attempt to do it themselves. If you've been wondering why your review requests normally don't pan out, you probably have at least one of these following issues that we're going to run through. The first of which is the email template doesn't make it easy to link to places to review. You know, we ran through what an email template should look like in one of the previous slides. We just want everything to be straightforward. We want to make sure that the link is in there. You know, sometimes a lot of people say, you know, should I send out this postcard and ask people to leave a review on my profile? I mean, that's not making it easy for your past clients because they still need to go online and figure out where your listing is. So, you know, grab the link to your Google My Business listing or your Avvo link or your Avvo listing and include that in your email. Even better if you use a nice template like ours where you can have a button that people can push and take them right to the review pop-up. So just easy, make it easy for your customers, let them do as least amount of work as possible. Next, no follow-up emails or text messages or automation process to check back in with people who didn't check the review request the first time. So a lot of times we don't get a review request on the initial email that we send out. You know, sometimes it's just not the right time or place when someone receives the email. We do make sure that we consider, you know, best timing and best practices as far as when to send out the review request. But a lot of times, you know, people will get that review request, you know, they'll even like click on the button to your review listing and see how easy it is and then open it up the next day and write the review, or they might not do it until they get that next email, and that time they get it, it's a better time for them to do it and you get your review. So it's just very important to make sure that you have a follow-up process because you will have a higher likelihood of getting more reviews because people do leave the review if you ask them a second or third time. And make it easier for yourself by implementing some automation. You're a lawyer, you're busy, you don't have time to keep track of who's opening up your emails and clicking through to your review listings, you know, and, you know, should I be responding to these listings? Implement some automation that can do all of that for you. And when you're working with a team of experts, you know, you can leverage their expertise to, you know, respond to these reviews accordingly. The next point is company emails that come off like solicitations rather than genuine emails on behalf of an unbiased third party. So you don't want to come off like you're just trying to get a review because that can turn people off. Sending a genuine email that looks like it comes from a legitimate source is going to give the impression that you truly are following up on the client experience and that you want feedback that can make your service better for others. I'll let Ryan run through the rest of the points.
Thanks. Yeah, before I proceed, yeah, I love the elaboration on the automation because not only is that probably the most important component of the issue like that arises because, you know, lawyers, you know, oftentimes have difficulty getting reviews themselves. Yeah, Joanna's been working very, very closely with our clients for the reviews. So I know you've definitely been talking at length about the different scenarios and different approaches to getting reviews with automation and how many it takes. And so, yeah, I really like that. That was good. And like Joanna said, it isn't until about the second and third, even fourth email that people get is when they respond and leave a review. It's very seldom that it's the first time. Great. So my points here. Poor email or template formatting. Use our template, pretty straightforward, you know, at some degree of design. So if you have a MailChimp or Constant Contact or some sort of newsletter platform that you do for your digital newsletters, e-newsletters, you know, you can use that to format this kind of template, no problem. So just keep in mind it's going to be more important to have some sort of template or design in place as opposed to just blocks of text with hyperlinks. The content email doesn't get to the point, so you don't have to write an entire story. You don't have to write paragraphs about why you should get a review, or it's just very simple. You know, refer back to the template we provided. We've always kept it to about 2 or 3 sentences. Sending emails at the wrong time of the day, just be considerate of that. Typically not on weekends, typically not super late at night. If you have any data from, again, your newsletters that you send out, and you see that open rates have been proven to work better at certain times of the day, certain times of the week, just use that same data for this kind of campaign. Emails that end up in spam folder. You know, if you're going to send this out, you have to be kind of conscientious of how many emails you're going to send out at once. So, you know, let's say you're gung-ho, let's do this. I want to send out, you know, to my whole database, my whole client list, former, current, whatever. And it's thousands and thousands of emails. Just be aware that if you send out hundreds or thousands at once, it might get flagged as spam. It might interfere with your campaign. You know, if you have an email person or IT or host, you know, maybe talk to them about what the best approach here is. And then last, and one of my favorites, attempting to get reviews at the place of business. Most listeners, and definitely in previous webinars, have been guilty of this. I've been beyond guilty with multiple charges of this crime here. You know, back about 6-7 years ago, I thought it was a brilliant idea that if someone came into the law office when I was working in-house and they, you know, they settled their case or got a, you know, disbursement check, any reason they're there, said, hey, they're already in the office, let's set them up in front of a laptop, computer, or iPad, and they'll leave a review. And if they don't have an email, we'll create an email. So a lot of listeners probably also know that doesn't work for a couple of reasons. The two I can think of right off the top of my head. A, IP addresses. Google and other websites, review websites, know where multiple reviews are coming from the same IP, and that's a red flag, and most of them don't stick. And then B, if an email is created for, let's say, Google, and someone creates it and Google knows it's been created for all of about 5 seconds and all they did was use it to leave a review and then they never logged in ever again, those reviews also typically don't stick. So this is something that sounds good and people probably still do it, but I guarantee that the likelihood of these reviews really sticking is very, very low.
Now, Ryan, does that IP address issue matter whether you're on mobile? Like, is that only for a laptop that they'll pick up that IP? So if someone has their iPhone and they're at the legal practice and you know, we do the review right then and there, is that going to trigger the IP address issue?
Man, why are you throwing me a curveball? This isn't on my script. No, actually, I don't read from a script whatsoever. That's why I probably stumble every once in a while. But yeah, so most offices have static IPs. So yeah, if you're kind of like hopping on a computer that's static, most internet service providers provide law firms with a static. So yeah, that's typically going to stick. With mobile devices, it's typically dynamic. So, you know, the IP gets switch up periodically. I don't want to get like super techie because honestly, I don't really know how often, but mobile devices are more dynamic and their IPs do tend to switch more often. Whereas, you know, your desktops in an office could be the same IP for years. So that is one consideration, yeah.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so since we started to follow a system like this, we've sent out thousands of emails and we wanted to share the results that we generated for our clients so far. So we have a 13% email conversion rate. So that refers to the percentage of people that left a review, with one client having a conversion rate as high as 38%. The average increase in reviews across all platforms averaged 69%, with one client having a 217% increase within just 2 months. And over 3,000 reviews generated with an average rating of 4.6 for all clients.
Great. And I want to elaborate on a few points. And I was thinking if I could throw you back a curveball, but I'm not going to bother. We'll do it some other time. But as you know, people that are watching, they say 13% email conversion rate. That sounds pretty low. This scenario that we're pointing out right here was a lawyer that already had, you know, their own system in place, and they, you know, reached out to all their former clients and did as much as they could, and we took over their account and got a 13% email conversion on emails that they already attempted to. So we found that to be pretty good. You know, 1 out of 8 or so of emails they can get prior using our system. And then the second right here, this 217% increase. I know that this wasn't a client that had, you know, 3 reviews and then they got 9, you know, something like that. This is someone that had about 50 and increased about 180. And then speaking of results, here are some visuals of a couple of our campaigns that we did in the past. One of our clients came to us and they had 2 reviews on Google. And during the course of working together, this campaign, I'm not exactly sure what the timeline was, but I'd imagine it's probably about 3 months. We got them 107 reviews, 95 of which were 5-star, 13 were 4. and one was 3. So fantastic campaign. Next person had 0 and generated 47 5-star. Those other ones, the 1 and 2, those are unfortunate. In reality, they could have possibly come from our campaign, but they could have possibly come from just people that didn't have a great experience with the law firm, and it was unrelated to our campaign. So last but not least, Joanna, this is the last slide, right? No,
yeah.
it's not. Oh, it is? Okay. She said, don't say that until it's really the last one. All right. So leveraging positive reviews. What is the importance, why is like all this effort besides, what we said consumers are looking, what are the other, ways you can leverage positive reviews? So adding a review widget on your website makes a huge impact for website visitors. If someone goes to your website, it's a criminal defense and they see, thousands of DUIs handled or dismissed or dropped, or those charges, personal injury, recovered, $500 billion in verdicts and settlements, that stuff is great. But also, social validation is huge too, and that's especially trending, especially halfway through 2019. So people want to see, testimonials, they want to see your results, but they also want to see this validation from reviews. In addition to that, kind of like segue with that part, is receiving and unlocking equality awards. So Avvo, everyone's familiar with, kind of does like a review system. So if you have like a 7, it's good, 8 is great, 9 is excellent, 10 is superb. So reviews definitely contribute to that, and they certainly contribute to other accolades and badges you can receive. The next part, the more reviews you get, the more testimonials you can essentially use too. So, for every 5-star review, you have a testimonial that, comes with it. So you can take excerpts and you can add that to your website. You can add it above the fold. You can add it to an entirely dedicated testimonials page, which people really look at. And we've looked at behavior flow for people's websites, and they gravitate, not only to practice areas, but they also go to About Us. They want to learn about the lawyers, and they want to see what other people are saying before they reach out to you. So dedicated testimonial and review pages actually work really well on websites too. And then 2 more points, providing an SEO boost. Now more than ever, there's a huge correlation with positive reviews and visibility online. And then the last point is there's a huge correlation between reviews and being featured on the Google Map Pack. So as you know, search results are comprised of your AdWords at the top you pay for, then typically it goes right into the maps, especially on mobile, which is 70% of most traffic nowadays, and it's getting higher than that. And then it goes organic. So now more than ever, the more reviews you have and the higher quality, the more likely you are to be on the maps. And years ago, it used to be mostly like proximity to city centroid and maybe some authority and some optimization of profile. But now it's almost like the top 3 reason it would be featured on maps. And if you've seen map results more and more, you've noticed that people typically in maps more often than they not have dozens or hundreds of reviews. So.
All right, so now you've seen how we successfully obtained reviews for our legal clients in 2019. If any of you are interested in more information about utilizing a third-party tool to generate reviews, please feel free to reach out. Our contact info is on the current slide, and we will be sending out the slide deck so all attendees have a copy to reference. That being said, thanks for joining us for our webinar today. At this time, we are going to open up the floor for our Q&A segment.
Yep. We'll give everyone a minute or 2 to start entering their questions in the Q&A, and we'll start reading those off. But before then, if you decide you'd like to partner with us for some review generation, you do have all the tools to do it yourself. Absolutely, I'd give that a go. But then you also have the opportunity to work with the lovely Joanna Brooks as well. See, you have like a few notes. I don't have any notes.
Thanks, Ryan, for pointing that out.
No, I already. It's not word for word. It's just like some talking points. You wanted to go smoothly. It's understandable.
And now everyone knows that my beautiful presentation I was reading from my notes. Beautiful.
No, there were definitely points where I know you're definitely not going word for word. So.
All right, let's take the first question.
Okay, yeah, good.
All right, I have a question from John. The question is, if I wanted to implement a system like this, what's required on my part? What's required on your part is not much, actually. Working with experts like us, all you'd have to do is send us a list of your past customers' email addresses, and then we take it from there. What we do is we put together a wonderful email template like you saw in one of the slides that we shared, with your logo completely customized with the messaging that we know works. And we send out review requests at different frequencies. Sometimes we have lawyers send us a list of emails on a weekly basis, or they'll do it on a monthly basis. Ideally, we like to receive email addresses as soon as a case closes or during a hot moment, so to speak. So when when things are going really well, or there's been a great development, then we will shoot out a review request. So it's very simple. You don't have to allocate any real time on your end other than to send us the email addresses, and we go ahead and make sure that you get those requests out, and we're building up your online reputation, getting you those positive reviews.
Yeah, one other thing I want to mention too is it'll also, I mean, talking about the system itself, you'll get notifications when you get a positive review that was posted somewhere. You'll get notifications sent to your email daily about, which is our goal and a part of the system too, is to, we didn't really elaborate on it, is deterring negative reviews or negativity, which I was going to say first, but it's kind of a twofold system. You want to, facilitate positive reviews while, eliminating the possibility of getting negative reviews. So it also keeps you in the know. You get notifications. Again, you work with Joanna. That's super cool. And then also, we'll probably save this for another webinar, but SMS in text is actually becoming more prevalent with the review generation. You're like, oh, don't go down that rabbit hole, but that is also an option as well.
All right. Any questions, feel free to enter them into the chat pane, and we'll go ahead and answer them as they come in. Ryan, you want to read this next one?
Yeah. Kim is asking here, she said that she's always had some success incentivizing clients like through a gift card. So I would not recommend doing it through gift cards and doing a solicitation. I don't really know if that really follows. I was just hesitant to even read it because I don't want to give anyone any ideas. Like, oh, it's a good idea. Give someone like a $10 gift card to Starbucks if they leave a review. I don't really know how that works. Well, I do know in Florida that it's not exactly the best approach to soliciting reviews in Florida, that we shied away from that a long time ago. And then I see here that someone's absolutely like, nope, Illinois is no. And I'm going to say that probably most states are a no. And furthermore, if I know that Yelp, there's this great example of Yelp, and this guy, this dentist, I think he was in California, that word got around that he was paying a lot, not 10, $50, I mean like $100 per review. And Yelp found out about it, and they posted like a pop-up every single time you go to their Yelp page. A pop-up would show up, and they said, hey, just adds up, this person pays for reviews. Just like what? So that's pretty much like a death sentence when it comes to Yelp. I mean, I don't like Yelp, but don't get me started there. I have other things I talk about with them, but that one's pretty next level. So yeah, definitely don't take that approach. If you do have staff, I mean, I do know some law firms prior to us like using a system like this. I think it's kind of cool to maybe incentivize people in-house. So if you have legal assistants or paralegals, and they're in contact with former clients, and maybe like a little bit of competition, maybe incentivize them internally to help. You just don't want anyone actually doing anything unethical to actually get the reviews. So this can all be, we have way too much success doing this straightforward and following regulations and policies and like Google and Avvo and Facebook terms and conditions, that we would never have to do any other approach, is basically the short answer.
All right, we have a um, another question. The question is, should I be responding to reviews that come in? The answer is, I mean, we think it's ideal. I mean, first of all, for negative reviews, absolutely, we want to respond to negative reviews. Um, a lot of the times you can minimize the negative effect of a negative review by responding to it. Just, when someone goes into your listing and they see that there's a negative review, but you've responded to it, that can really overcome any negative effect, because they're like, okay, this person didn't intend to do wrong. They've taken steps to fix whatever was wrong or address the situation, and so now this negative review doesn't mean anything bad to that person. They're still going to want to click through to your website or give you a call because they know that you wanted to make things right, and there was probably some kind of miscommunication or misunderstanding there. As far as positive reviews, ideally, responding to positive reviews is great. It's all part of you showing what kind of client experience you can deliver. You're not only allocating time to people while they are, under a retainer or while they're working with you. You've taken the time to show appreciation for them after the fact as well, and that means a lot. So we do recommend responding to reviews, both positive and negative. But if you can't get to the positive, which takes time if you're doing it on your own, again, if you're working with an expert, those are things that we can do for you. But we definitely want to address negative reviews anytime they come in. And we want to address reviews as soon as possible. You don't want a negative review to come in today and you haven't addressed it until 5 days later. It's important to address reviews right away. So that's just another reason why you want to make sure that you have a pulse on what's going on and have a team that is monitoring your reputation online.
Way to way to pull it in. I agree. Two last things I want to say about that too, and consumers are consumers. I'm sure and you've probably done it yourself, where you're checking out a local service. They have 100 reviews, and most are amazing. They sound great, but there's like 2 one-star reviews. You always gravitate to those 2 one-star reviews. You're just like, I want to see where they screwed up or why they got this 1-star. So people, it doesn't matter how positive, people just jump right into that 1-star. So the thing is if you respond to a 1-star review and then that person doesn't like follow up back, they don't really seem like it's legit, because a lot of 1-star reviews, unfortunately for lawyers, are bogus. They might be competition. Everyone's been there. So if you respond and it's bogus and you're saying like, I don't remember, you like not remember, I mean, that would sound bad, but we didn't represent you, our firm didn't work with you, and then they don't respond, I guarantee a average consumer would say that's probably spam, and they would disregard the 1-star. The second thing I want to say real quick, and Joanna, you probably don't know this. And this is the first time
Thanks,
saying
Ryan.
this. I
Thanks for
don't know.
believing in my expertise.
No, I don't know. Absolutely. I mean, everything about this, obviously, you present on it, but this is like very specifically SEO, and I don't think we've discussed this. But when it comes to reviews and responses to reviews within Google Local,
Let me
there's
guess. Let me guess.
keywords.
Google local. I was gonna say that, Ryan. Oh man.
But what I was going to say is, no, I'm not sure. I don't remember us talking about this. But if you respond to something positive and you say like, I'm glad that I could help you, it's criminal defense. I'm glad I could help you on your, DUI matter, or I can help you with your like suspended license. Those keywords get indexed within the local listing, and then that listing is more likely to come up for multiple other keywords.
Yeah, I mean that's
Pretty
old news. I knew that already, but thanks
sure.
thanks for sharing that with our lovely attendees.
Sorry, I was being anecdotal or something. So whatever.
We have a follow-up question from Christina. She wants to know, as a policy, do you believe deleting negative reviews is better or leaving them up? I don't think you can delete negative reviews. That's why you have to be really careful about trying to get reviews in the first place, is because you don't want negative reviews to end up on your Google My Business listing and you can't take them down. The only thing you can do is respond, and hopefully that person will edit their review and change their review, or they will take it down themselves. But you can't take down someone else's review. And that's why it's very important to have a well thought out strategy in place when you're going to be soliciting reviews, so to speak.
Yeah, if you want to pop up with that and cite like a specific place where that's possible, let us know. But I can't really think of any off the top of my head. And like Joanna was saying, I mean, if it's on Yelp, how Yelp is. Yelp's all about pushing down your positive and keeping up your negative. So we're not going to even go there because that's a nightmare. But yeah, it's about responding and following up. And if you feel that the review is sincerely like spam, or it's not something you ever worked with, Google's not that bad about you letting you flag it as spam, and then kind of, you know, typing in a reason, and you're saying, you know, I never worked with this person. It's probably bogus. And I've seen them more times than I haven't typically go down if they sincerely are bogus.
Okay. We have another question from Walter. Walter wants to know how he should prioritize getting his reviews. What's more important, Google My Business, Avo? So we prioritize Google My Business for many reasons, one of which Ryan just explained. Keywords can get picked up. The fact that you have positive reviews can play into things like voice search, how you're going to show up. Like if someone says, find me the best lawyer in my area, you having more positive reviews, like that's where the industry, that's where things are trending right now. So Google My Business first. Avo, of course, you know, it's a legal specific, so you want to get reviews on Avo. But what's really great about the email template and the platform that we use is that we can include links to whatever online profiles we deem important. So on ours, we like to include the link to Google My Business first, then the link to Avo. So we give every person an opportunity to, you know, leave a review on both if they want to, or at least on one or the other. And what you can also do is say, hey, you know, it's really important for me to work on my Google My Business listing right now. Avo has, I have a lot of great reviews on Avo. I'm not worried about that. I need more reviews on Google My Business. So we'll just focus on that. And once we get a good amount of reviews on Google My Business, then we might shift gears back to Avo and build that up even more. And then what we also do is, like many of you lawyers have multiple locations, and with our platform we can target more than one location. We don't have to work on just one location at a time and move like turtles. We can multitask, and I can set up multiple businesses or locations whereby we can send out review requests and build up your reviews on each one of your locations Google My Business listings. So really spreading out the visibility across your locations.
Joanna, really, that's great. I mean, it's like funny because I was going to follow up on a few things, but you actually just said it before I did. So yeah, you really truly become passionate about talking about this. It's like really great. And I completely agree with that. Like John was saying, multiple locations. So if you have 5 offices, one location, you know, it goes from 0 to 50. You know, you might not technically need any more users. Then you shift to another location, that's 5, and then you move that to 50 and move along. So excellent point there. For sure.
Yes, great question, Walter. Thank you. I don't want to take all the credit.
No, that was pretty good. I had like one more thing that I was going to say, but then I started congratulating you on the passion for reviews and all this stuff. And then I slipped my mind actually what the one thing I wanted to say. But yeah.
We'll leave the floor open for a couple more minutes for any last questions that you'd like us to address. Otherwise, as we mentioned, our contact information is on the current slide. You have Ryan's information on the left-hand side. You have my information on the right-hand side. We are ready and available to answer any questions that you have regarding online reputation or possibly any of our other full-service marketing opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we've been doing, this webinar for some people for a long time. We're glad that we can do it for the Lawyers Distinction Group. Exclusively they reach out to us because of the success and the content we put out, regarding this topic, and we're glad we can bring it specifically to you. And we've been doing this for a long time, reviews, digital marketing. So, if you have something that's like somewhat related, we're game. I already got my curveball, so Joanna still needs her curveball. So feel free to give her a stumper and see what she does. It's overdue. I'm not going to do it.
I got my curveball when you very kindly pointed out the fact that I had notes at the bottom of my webinar presentation.
Oh, I mean, like, I guess technically, I think you're doing a little bit more talking than I am. So,
yeah.
I think that's cool. I don't think that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'm the one that's always here and there flubbing up. So, maybe I should have notes.
Yeah, I mean, one of us has to stay, consistent with good presentation skills here.
There we go.
Yes.
Well said. Thanks.
Exactly. Very good. Yeah, you have Ryan Klein, one of our managing partners of Market My Market on the line. The other is Chase Williams. He is not with us today, but with us in spirit and very enthusiastic about this platform as well. We've all been using it for a long time, seeing great results, and we've really, as Ryan mentioned, honed in these recent on these recent years on the strategy that we're using, what messaging works the best, what kind of template works the best. And we're really confident with what we're doing right now. We've hardly seen, I mean, we haven't really seen any negative reviews, like honestly, come in from.
It's probably happened really because of us, like maybe, I'm not exaggerating or just like trying to talk us up, but the system just works very well. Probably like 2 and out of 3,000 is
Yeah.
probably about correct. It's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah, because any of the ones that do, I mean, of course, we do get people who get lower ratings, but with our system, we pre-check customer sentiment with that first initial email where we ask people to leave a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, and if they choose a rating, we like to set the threshold at 8. If they choose a rating at 8 or above, then we send them to that positive landing page that says, "Oh, great, thanks for that positive rating. We'd love to hear some more of your feedback. Please leave it on our online profile." And then they go ahead and do that. But if they had chosen a rating of 7 or below on that initial email, we send them to a negative landing page that says, "We're so sorry, please, share some more feedback with us," and it goes directly to you and not on your online profile. So it's a really great system that only that only funnels through positive reviews, and any negative ratings that do come in get stopped at that first step. So those negative ratings only come to you, and they don't end up on your Google My Business listing or your Avvo profile. So it's really neat in that respect.
That's probably something we should talk about more in the slides. The reason that we have the template the way it is right now is because Google is flip-flopping on pre-check sentiment. So we could update that probably, because Google, like, we work with third parties, and Google reps were like, "No, you can't do pre-check because that's not like an authentic way of asking for reviews." But then like a month later they said, "No, it's okay." So it's kind of like up in there, but pre-check is good right now. We're always following the protocol of both like every review website, along with like what bar regulations would look like. So, not soliciting, plus following the guidelines presented by Google and other websites, because they'll just flag the review. So one example is you can't do Yelp for reviews because they check what's called the referral path. So what they can see is, if you set up like a template and they click through with it, Yelp can see, okay, this person just came from like this website, and this website is known for like soliciting reviews. So they're just going to flag it. So you just have to be careful about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, but like Ryan said, they've been flip-flopping or whatever, but the strategy that we're using is working. It adheres to Google's guidelines. The platform itself, the way that it's set up, it defaults to making sure that it includes everything that adheres to Google's guidelines. So there isn't anything unethical about it. There's multiple modes, and that's another one of the cool things about the system, is that what we like to do is we like to start people off in this review mode where you have that pre-check of customer sentiment. And that's for people who don't really know or have a pulse on what's going to come in. Like, it feels like the experiences have been good, but I'm not quite sure that every review that comes in is going to be positive. So let's just start off in this review mode where we pre-check and see how things go. You run the risk then that, okay, some people might get to that first step and, leave a 9 rating and feel like, okay, I've done enough already. I don't need to leave any comments or anything on their Google My Business listing. And many people still go ahead and do that, but some people fall off at that point. And that's when there's another mode that we can toggle to, which is called a direct mode. And that's where there's just one email, and it looks just like the email that we showed in our slide today, where they choose a button at the top to write a positive review, or they click that big red button at the bottom that says, "Hey, click here for any negative feedback." And so that way you're still funneling only positive reviews, but it's just a tad bit more risky. And we have clients that lean towards that mode when they're positive that things are good. Or maybe we've been in the review mode for, a month, and, things are looking really good. We're not seeing any negative ratings coming through. Let's switch over to direct now, because all these positive ratings that I'm getting that didn't actually turn into reviews could have actually been reviews if it was just one step. So that's another really great thing about the platform that we can use.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, Joanna definitely is authority by far with that, because you're the one that works pretty closely on these campaigns. And so even when we were, Google was flip-flopping, they're like, do we do pre-check, do we not? And even when it was approved, we still test either way, because you don't really even necessarily need the pre-check, because with the template that we just presented, the negative reviews don't really come in that way anyway. So the pre-check essentially just creates another step. I think it's better for people, and I'm sure everyone here is a great lawyer, but it's for people that are concerned about what people are going to say. I mean, that's really what it is. It's for people that have businesses where if you ask them, how are all your client experiences? And they're just like, so, some are good, some are bad. And it's like, pre-check is probably pretty good for you. But if you're confident, like, everyone has something good to say, there's no reason to do pre-check.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a safety net for exactly as Ryan explained.
Great. Well, if you'll still have questions, we're still here. Obviously, we really enjoy talking about this, and we've been talking for a bit. If you still want us to chat, you're still in this for the long haul, maybe drop a line in chat and say, yeah, good, just keep talking about reviews. I'm taking notes. This is very interesting. I'm learning a lot. Just let us know. We'll keep on talking for another 10 minutes about some other information.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just going to get out of here. If everyone's just going to leaving this up and they're going back to, drafting motions, I'm going to get back to work now, So we'll hang out for like, I don't know if you see any more questions come in, but, oh yeah, one thing I want to talk about real quick, and if there are no more questions by the time I'm done talking about this, we're gonna wrap it up. But one interesting thing that you actually mentioned, not that it's like you don't talk about a lot of interesting things, but the thing I definitely want to elaborate on is when you mentioned voice search, because that's something that we're anticipating but isn't proven yet, and this is something that I'm hypothesizing is going to be the future of voice search and how it works, and it probably will roll out by the end of 2019, probably early next year. So voice search, people using, their phones and Google Home and, Alexa, whatnot. Shouldn't say Alexa. Alexa just started popping up in the kitchen. There it is. But yeah, it's like, what do you want? So voice search, people are going to be searching, how, lawyer by me, how to find a lawyer, and then people do this, and this is already documented via search volume and AdWords and all that. People search, find me the best lawyer, find me the top lawyer, and so what Google's going to do, and again, this isn't proven, but this is a hypothesis, and this is something I'm very confident is going to happen. They are going to find the best lawyer, not by necessarily like keywords on a website, but they're going to equate the amount of reviews and the quality of the reviews that you have to being the best. Yeah, there's Alexa. So, it's going to say, well, if this person is the top and they have 300 reviews and its average rating 4.9, technically they are the best. And technically, if you say, find me the best lawyer, in the respective area, they're going to read off the information for the person that has the best reviews. And I feel really good about that being a possibility. And couple that with the fact that we did a survey, and we've been doing the survey for years. And what we ask is, we ask like 250 to 500 people, what is the likelihood that you're going to use voice search this year? And in previous years, it was like, I think 2017, it was like 10%. And then last year was 20%. So we weren't really, too hung up on doing a campaign like we have to do voice search. There's other things that we were worried about, like local and other campaigns. But this year it was 80% of people. So that fact of 80% of people, coupled with the fact that we think that Google voice search is moving that direction, yeah, reviews are important. I don't know how many other times we can stress that.
Definitely important. And we would also love any feedback that you all might have regarding the webinar itself. If you have any feedback, please feel free to leave any comments in the webinar chat or send us an email and let us know if you feel like we informed you sufficiently or anything along those lines. We are always looking to improve and deliver the best presentations and experience that we can.
Yep. And then, yeah, if you have any follow-up questions, they don't always have to be about reviews. Like I said, we're a very, very competent SEO team. Digital marketing, been doing it for a long time. So anything related to your website or SEO or paid, we got you covered. And we'd love to have that conversation because we very much enjoy talking about this stuff. As you can see, us going 15 minutes over.
Yeah, Ryan is he is an SEO wizard that has a lot of experience in that arena. So definitely reach out to us if you're interested in improving your online visibility for organic traffic.
Cool. So that all being said, really appreciate taking the time to have a little conversation about review generation with us, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we did, and we will see you next time. We'll go ahead and send out the recording as well as the slides of the webinar. Talk to you next time.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.